Man, another idiot talking about something they know nothing about? Yep, you're right. But answer me this. When the Switch 2 comes out, or gets revealed, will you not look back at these videos for entertainment? I know I did with the NX and Switch. That's why I'm making this, because it's fun. And now, here are my predictions. Wait a second, you might be wondering, why do I think it's going to be a Switch 2? Another brand new thing? Well, I'm almost confident in saying it's going to be a hybrid. Couple reasons for that. Nintendo merged their home and handheld development teams together, which would probably be an issue if they go back to split releases. They could do it because Nintendo, but they won't, even if it's Nintendo. Second, why wouldn't they do a Switch 2 if it's a hybrid console? They have a contract with Nvidia, and with the right marketing, it could be a success, even if it's not as successful as the current Switch. Now, predictions. Let's start with the console stuff. I think form factor wise it's going to be very similar to the Switch OLED. I don't think they would modify anything other than the game card and maybe make it so you don't easily destroy the speaker grill when opening the kickstand. So it seems like a preview or a beta. I think Joy-Con are going to have a couple of revisions. I think they're going to put in Hall effect joysticks in it because that would solve a major design flaw. They're also going to add ergonomic additions like adding a little bump to the back bottom, making it slightly wider, and making the left joystick and face buttons closer to the edge, and D buttons and right joystick closer in. There's probably a visualization on screen. I don't think it's going to be major. They probably still want tabletop mode to be a thing, but some small additions to make better experience for handheld use would be nice. And something they might do, which I'm honestly not sure they will, is add analog triggers to the Switch 2. It seems obvious, but the last official Nintendo controller with analog was the Wii Classic controller. They removed it from the Pro version. Now, performance. Alright, I think the Switch 2 would target native 720p and 1080p. Yep, I said it. Everyone was thinking it. Alright, first off, 1080p docked? Really? If you notice, I said native. I think games designed for the Switch 2 would target 1080p with native DS2 to 4K. I believe there's rumors about it using Ampere. Nintendo is already using FSR1 in the first party Switch games, so it probably don't care about the cleanliness or whatever of the image. It also will look better than the FSR1 implementation. DLSS2 is a really good, especially when upscaling to 4K from 1080p. Now, before they get this far, 720p handheld. My reasoning for this is simple. 720p on a handheld is perfectly fine. There, I said it. The Steam Deck barely runs games as its 800p. The ROG Ally doesn't get close to its 1080p. And the Switch 2, it's going to be less powerful. How much? Probably 50%. I bought that number out of nothing. Now, I can read your mind. 720p is the current Switch resolution. It's not next gen if it doesn't improve, but consider these 2 points. How many Switch games run at a native 720p in handheld? A lot. Breath of the Wild does, Tears of the Kingdom doesn't, Odyssey doesn't, any Xenoblade game doesn't. There's probably more I can name, but the point is, there will be a noticeable improvement in just resolution wise. However, resolution is not the only thing that makes up a game's graphics. Point 2. Effects. From shadows to anti-aliasing to reflections to lighting, there's so much more to a game's visual makeup than just resolution. All of these are severely lacking on Switch, and 720p is good enough. Well, in my opinion, 720p with higher quality effects, maybe AA, it's Nintendo, so would look better than slightly worse effects at 900p, especially at handheld screen size. Now, why not use DLSS2? DLSS2 does not work well at 1080p unless you have it scaled from like 720p, which you might not notice the artifacting on a small screen, but also DLSS would require more power in handheld mode, even if it's just running at 720p. It's still using probably more power than if it was just doing it natively. It's port handheld, not just a home console. Power draw matters in this regard. I think Nintendo understands this more than me, and of course will balance this. Also, Neil, DLSS 3, I'm sorry, no extra fancy frames for you. DLSS 3 doesn't really work that well at lower frame rates, would be a mistake to include it. Now, my last talking point. Backwards compatibility. Nintendo has always had a good backwards compatibility with new consoles. GBA with GBA/C, DS with GBA, 3DS with DSiWare and DS, Wii with GameCube, Wii U with Wii, and with Switch 2, it would be a major mistake to not include backwards compatibility with Switch games. Now, all of these next talking points are going to be considering the fact Nintendo does not do a Nintendo and put a Tegra S1 in the Switch 2. I'm considering that they're working on a compatibility layer, because it's probably more economical. So my predictions, in both docked and handheld mode, Switch games will run at docked performance. Yep, even in handheld, the Switch 2 will be such a major upgrade over the regular Switch that probably won't affect battery life that much. For docked, I think by default it will use a system level FSR1 implementation to upscale the game to 4K. It will look gross, especially with games that have FSR already. But it might look better, maybe. Also, I feel like any dip in performance will be solved by just being more powerful, so resolution drops and frame rate drops will probably just be solved. Now, here comes the crackpot theory. Year 1, Nintendo will make a big deal about them going to previous games and making Nintendo Switch 2 enhancements, like unlocked resolution with FSR disabled. Games might run at 1120p docked, which would look way better than 720p with FSR1. That's being upscaled to 4K by FSR again. They could possibly do more, like add DLSS2, but adding DLSS2 isn't as simple as just disabling FSR and increasing the resolution. They could increase graphical effects, but I don't expect that. All I really want them to do is unlock the resolution. I think most games will run at a very high resolution, which would make them look nice. Also, with this, I know Nintendo is going to make it a monthly thing. Every month you get like one big Nintendo game, Smash, Zelda, Mario, with like a few other smaller Nintendo games that will receive this upgrade. It probably include a lot of Switch games in the first year, but games will still receive this in year 2 and possibly 3, because they will slowly lessen how many games gets it. It's Nintendo, what can you do? Now, what do you think of my predictions? What are yours? The Switch 2 is coming quickly, before the time is up.